Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Them Brothers from Inglewood podcast. I'm Hoopy, your host, and I'm so excited to be back in the studio to share with you once again fresh and new content. I'm going to ask if you don't mind to like, subscribe, share, and ring the notification button so that you'll be abreast as to when we're airing the next episode. Listen, I'm excited just because of your encouragement and your support. You have done such a wonderful job since we aired during the pandemic, and it has been a very comforting thing knowing that you are enjoying the content that we're trying to put out. Um, Last week was an amazing time that we were sharing about different topics, and this week won't be any different. And so I'm going to ask that you would just, you know, uh, put the word out, let people know that we have various subjects and topics and guests that share with us, and you're so welcome to add comments in the comment section. We actually encourage that. We want you to comment. We want you to uh, provide literature, material, things that will cause us to go deeper in the subjects, and so that we will be fully informed pertaining to subjects that we may not have an expertise in. We may not have all of the information, and so collectively we can actually learn together. And like I always say, I'm not trying to be dogmatic. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all. I'm just really trying to create unity through dialogue. I want us to have conversations like grown people should. I want us to talk about what matters most, things that take place in everyday life. From parenting to being a son, being a daughter, to family, to careers, to various things that affect us. And so I'm just, really elated that we have this platform to share and to coexist. And today is not going to be any different than any other day that we will try to delve into exciting subjects that we can agree with or disagree with, but not be disagreeable. We're not here to argue. We're not here to have an unhealthy debate. We're just here to state the facts and to try to find resolve to various problems that we all experience as Black, brown, African American people. And so, without further ado, I would like to talk from the subject of merely something that really has affected us all, especially in this day and time. I'd like to talk about socio-economics. Do I have a strong background in fundamental finances? I think so. I think I've misappropriated my budget many times. I may not have a degree in finance. I may not have a long history in communicating my finances, but in all fun, in all truth and transparency, financial stability and liberty is so important. It's so needed. I always tell some of my buddies, I said, I believe I'm in the third quarter of the game. We understand that games go into overtime. I'm hoping that the game of life for me goes into overtime and double overtime and 3 and 4 overtimes. But realistically, I think about my future. I think about my financial stability. I think about the investments and lack thereof pertaining to leaving a legacy, for my children. I don't want my children to experience nowhere near what I had to experience and learn in my young adulthood. There were different ways that I saw financial freedom and I saw financial stability. There were so many things I did not know about finances, so many mistakes that I made pertaining to my finances and the future. And as I got older and when I went from being responsible for myself only to actually fathering children, I have two sons and a daughter, and I had a wife. We were married for a number of years, and it was all a new experience. I had to develop through that marriage relationship. I had to develop in fatherhood, and I had to be more responsible than I had ever been, because it was no longer about me. It was about my family. It was about my young wife, my young children, and I had to step up and be the man that I was called to be. I think a lot of times, we don't realize how large the responsibility is until we're actually smack dead in the middle of it, or we're on the other side of that responsibility. And that's what it was like for me. It was like a wake-up call, but it was also a very, very important privilege for me. I embraced fatherhood. I embraced being a husband. I wanted to be a good husband. I wanted to be a good father. I wanted to be what I did not have after a certain age in my life. Not that my father didn't love my brothers and I. I totally believe he did. And I totally believe that he wanted to be the father that he was supposed to be to my brothers and I. However, that absence and that gap, obviously it created a void, and I had to learn through my grandfathers. I was fortunate to have my grandfathers well into my 40s. I was actually over 40 when my grandfathers passed away. My mom's father passed away in 2005, and my father's father passed away in 2006. They passed away close, in proximity of one another, but I learned a great deal from both of them. They were both different in personality. They were both different in a lot of ways, but they were two men from the Deep South. My father's father is from Round Rock, Texas. My mother's father is from Tallulah, Louisiana. And they were from the rural country of the South, and, born to both parents, and grew up exposed to a system and to a culture that I believe ultimately made them the men that they became. They both came west after being in the service. Both of my grandfathers were actually in the Army. They served a couple of years each in the Army. They made their way to California to start a life and to create opportunities, and that's where they started their family. My father was actually born in Austin, Texas, and reared there until I guess around the age of 3 or 4 when, my grandparents moved them to Los Angeles. But I say that to say that in family dynamics and in the family structure, you would think that we would have something to look forward to and have in the form of legacy, that something would be left for your children's children, something that can be passed on and enjoyed and actually built upon. I think what I've seen in my brief scholarship and time of living, I didn't see a great deal passed on. I didn't see legacies from a material and financial standpoint left behind. I believe our parents and grandparents did the best that they could. They did what they knew that they could, but it did not translate into a head start. And I think I struggle with that today, meaning I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want to be of a greater support by allowing them to start adulthood with something. I think that's something that I wrestle with on a regular basis, and it has kind of stifled me and hindered me moving forward, because the only thing I can do to not necessarily fix the past, because the past is the past, but do something moving forward. Do something now. What can I do now to enhance my children's life, especially my sons, teaching them to be influential, to have a positive effect in their lives, an impression, to encourage them to achieve, to succeed, and not leave them with a bitter taste in their mouth, a negative, mindset, or even, something in the pit of their stomach when my name is mentioned, when the mere mentioning of a father or a dad comes up, and they have this poor perception of me. And so I think about that a lot, because I really sacrifice and I give of myself, I give of my time to my children in support of them. And that's fine, that's great. Ultimately, that counts. But you also want to give something tangible to your children to encourage them and see them move forward. And that's something that I'm working on every day. I want to put something in their hands. I want to put something in their future. I don't want my daughter, as a teenager, she's a young teenager, I don't want my daughter to ever have to depend on anyone. I don't want her to ever have to think that she has to be a certain way towards a man in order to get what she wants or have what she needs. I don't want my children in that position. And so talking about finances today and talking about the management of it or the importance of it, I realize that money is a tool. Money is a necessity. Money is something that we trade. It's a commodity. It is something that has value when it's actually spent. It can be used as collateral as well, but money is no good until it's spent. You can have money stacked from the ground to the ceiling, but until you use the money, spend the money, it's just paper. You can say, oh yeah, I have X amount of dollars, and oh yeah, I have this saved, or I have, this is growing and growing and growing, but until you actually trade the money, it's just paper, right? I would like to have enough money to say, hey, I got stacks of it just sitting. I look at it all the time. I look at it every day. I just go by. I just love the scent of it, just knowing I can sleep good at night, knowing I got 40 million, 50 million, 100 million in the bank. And that's wonderful. That's good. But I believe we have to leave something tangible for our children. We have to build legacy and a future for our young people. We have to encourage them to inform themselves. I know college isn't for everybody, but information is. Education does not always translate, into degrees. However, knowledge is for us all. We all should gain knowledge. Whatever it is we're doing, whatever it is we're pursuing, we have to gain more knowledge about it. And so I think in the past, my brother and I talked about finances and the importance of legacy in a different sense. It was under a different topic, or subject, but I think it's relevant to deal with now, simply because I've just got to a place in this season of my life, and I'm like, wow, everything is expensive, everything is going up, nothing seems to be going back down. I don't think we're gonna see the day where gas prices are affordable, or reasonable, I should say. Has to be affordable if you're gonna have transportation. No matter what, you got to put fuel in the car. And I know a lot of the vehicles now are energy efficient, so you got a lot of electric cars and things of that nature. But even with that, those type of cars and everything, the prices are higher than they've ever been. Whatever, I don't think the days of working on a Chevy pickup truck or a Mustang, Ford Mustang, as we did, in the 70s, 80s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, are quite feasible to do now, because the cars are just, they're made different. Technology and the technological advances, are much more complicated than they've ever been. So this short episode on finances are very fundamental and basic, and I'm speaking in terms of how to get exposed to investing, how to get into a regimen or even a rhythm of saving money, and strategies that we can use that will secure a lot of things for us in the future, especially those who are interested in leaving something behind, leaving something for your children's children, because the reality is we can't take nothing with us. Once we pass away from this life and cross over, everything materially and physically that we've obtained and accumulated, it's going to stay. We can't put our house in the tomb with us. We can't put our car in the grave with us. We cannot take the money where we're going, because it's just not been proven that works. Even in ancient Egypt, the antiquities that were found and that we have come into the knowledge of, where people like King Tut was buried with all this gold and all this jewelry and all of this expensive material stuff, from my understanding, it's still in the tomb. It's still there. The gold is gold, but at the end of the day, King Tut couldn't take anything with him. And none of the other patriarchs and those people of our ancestry was able to take those material items with them. And so what am I saying? I'm saying that we can pass things down and leave things for our families so that they can pick up from where we left off, build on it, and actually go higher. I think legacy has everything to do with the persons attached to that legacy to move it forward in a greater way. I think what makes one's legacy great is the successor that takes it to the next dimension. And so that's what I want for my children. I want my children to exceed all of my accomplishments. I want my children to be creative, to be the individuals that they are, to exploit explore the opportunity of their giftings and their talents. I want them to excel beyond what I have done, their mom is doing, and so on. So these are some very important things that I'm considering at my age in the third quarter of the game of my life. I don't consider myself an elderly person. I do consider myself a senior citizen. AARP says I'm a senior citizen at the age of 56. But I thank God for where I am physically and chronologically in age. I don't feel 56. I don't think 56. I act 56. Well, what I'm saying is I'm mature at this age, moving in the direction of positivity. But I feel just as young as I did when I was 18. I have a few aches and pains here and there that I didn't know that it even existed until, sometimes you sit down or you try to get up, or when you wake up or you go to sleep. Those are the funny things that I was told when I was a much younger man, and I heard from individuals that were a little older at that time, and they talked about it. You just wait. You're going to get older one day, and you wait till you get older and things of that nature. So it's been a tremendous, blessing to experience such, such things when you think about it, and you realize that that's just father time. And as a former athlete, I know exactly what that means. Father time is undefeated. We just don't get a second opportunity to be the athlete that we were when we were teenagers and young adults in college. But that's the fun thing, because I think a part of our wealth and a part of our success is exercising. Exercising to, of course, alleviate the stresses on our bodies, but more importantly, in our mind, our emotions. I think we exercise to experience a sense of peace, a sense of comfortability, because life itself can be challenging at times. We get emotionally exhausted. We get overworked from a psychological standpoint, and sometimes you need space. You need an opportunity to release those things and get away from the toxicity of it, if we allow it to overwhelm us or overtake us. So I just thought it was very important to just kind of open this discussion with financial freedom, financial liberty, and see what that means to you. What does financial freedom mean to you? What are some of your goals? Have you thought about your future? Do you have children or nieces or nephews that you would like to leave your legacy with? Who's going to pick up the mantle? Are you giving the mantle to anyone? How do you expect that to happen? How does that look for you? And I just believe that these are opportunities for us to have dialogue, to share, to bring in other resources and talk about this stuff. Help us find solutions. It's frustrating at times when you appear to not have a solution, and you look at life, or let's just say you look at your job, your career, in a mundane way, that you've kind of hit the ceiling with your career, and it doesn't look like it's going any higher. You're not gaining more money, and some things are undone. But I'm learning that we have to release those unnecessary stresses. Yes, they're very important to us. I'm not saying downplay it. I'm saying let's find solutions. Let's find some form of resolve. Let's try to get to a place in our lives where we can actually transfer things to the next generation. I want to transfer financial wealth, generational wealth, to my children, so that their children will enjoy the fruits of my labor. It's not too late to invest. It's not too late to equip, teach, and nurture young people. And I think that has always been an inspiration to me. That's why I don't quit. I don't have a sense of giving up. I'm always fighting for my dream. I'm always, rediscovering myself to push through and tunnel through difficult seasons of my life. And I think it has, been a huge contribution to me and to my attitude, seeing that I've come out of or come through a lot of things that tried to hinder me early in my life and in the middle of my life. And I'm not saying that I'm exempt from trouble or challenges that will occur in the future. I'm looking for the greatness of God. I'm looking for the success moving forward. So my expectation is financial freedom, liberty, and of course, peace and joy as I go through the progression of my life. And I want my children to experience the same thing. I want my children to be healthy, happy, and full of joy and excited to make contributions into society, into the world, and be effective in their era and day. So I want to say to each of you before I close this episode by simply asking you to go on that path of discovery. Determine in your heart what decisions you need to make for your future. What type of insurances, annuities, investment opportunities, things that you can transfer, things that you can actually create in a place to where your family or your loved ones can truly benefit. And so I want to challenge you to put some comments in the comments section. Give me some ideas, suggestions. I'm open for positive suggestions to create a future, not only for myself, but for the people that I love. And there are so many different things that we can, be proud of that we have experienced in our life. So thanks for listening. Thank you for all of your support and your sharing. Again, I'm going to ask that you would like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification button. And you'll be abreast as to when we come back to air a new episode. So I'm going to bring this card to a stop, and we'll see you again next time. I want to say thanks again. We'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.